Tonight, something ends. Not with violence, not with force, not with the dramatic collapse you might have imagined 1,000 times when you pictured your life finally changing. It ends the way a dream ends. Quietly, without announcement. You simply stop dreaming one dream and begin dreaming another. And by the time the sun rises, the person who pressed play on this video will already feel like a memory. Not because you forgot who you were, but because who you were was never the whole truth. It was a fraction. A whisper pretending to be the entire conversation. And tonight, the rest of the conversation begins. Most people believe transformation is something you build. Brick by brick, habit by habit, day by painful day, stacking effort upon effort, until eventually, someday, you arrive at the person you were always meant to be. And I understand why that story is so popular. It feels responsible. It feels earned. It gives the mind something to hold on to, some sense of control in a universe that refuses to be controlled. But here is what no one tells you. The version of you that you have been trying to build already exists. It is not a future self waiting at the end of some long road of self-improvement. It is a present self, a parallel frequency that has been broadcasting this entire time, waiting not for you to become worthy of it, but for you to stop drowning it out with the static of who you think you are. Let that land for a moment. You are not here tonight to construct a new identity. You are here to stop maintaining the old one. Because maintaining the old one, that is the real work. That is where all your energy has been going. Every morning you wake up and unconsciously rebuild the same self, the same doubts, the same limitations, the same story about what is possible and what is not. You do it so automatically, so seamlessly, that it feels like reality itself rather than what it actually is, which is a choice made so many times it forgot it was a choice. Tonight, we interrupt that pattern, not through force, through listening, through presence, through allowing something deeper than your habitual mind to speak. And when it speaks, when you truly hear it, the old construction simply cannot hold. It was never meant to be permanent. It was scaffolding. And the building it was protecting is finally ready to stand on its own. So settle in. Let your body find whatever position allows it to soften. Let your breath slow without forcing it to slow. Let your eyes close if they want to close, or let them rest unfocused if they want to stay open. There is no wrong way to receive what is coming. The only requirement is that you stop trying to be the person who walked into this moment and allow yourself to become curious about who walks out of it. If you are ready to go deeper than what we can cover tonight, listen to this. Have you spent years chasing manifestation, visualizing, affirming, raising your vibration, only to watch the same patterns repeat? Every traditional method assumes the same thing, that you are separate from what you want. That separation was never real. You were chasing a signal you were already broadcasting. Beyond the frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery walks through all 9 frequencies. From the dense transmissions trapping you, through the ascending currents, to the master frequencies where consciousness becomes the field. Every method you tried sent a signal outward. This one tunes the signal you already are. Every day you delay, your nervous system broadcasts the same old signal, and breaking free gets harder. So move on it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now let us return to the frequency shift already unfolding here. There is a principle in quantum physics that has staggered the scientific community for over a century now, and it is this. The act of observation changes what is being observed. At the subatomic level, particles do not exist in fixed states until they are measured. Before measurement, before observation, they exist as probability waves, as clouds of potential containing every possible outcome simultaneously. It is only when consciousness looks, when awareness focuses, that the wave collapses into a single point, a single reality, a single expression out of infinite possibility. Now, most people hear this and think it is a fascinating curiosity about very small things that has no relevance to their daily life. But here is where it gets interesting. You are made of those very small things. Every cell in your body, every synapse in your brain, every molecule of every emotion you have ever felt is built from the same quantum fabric that responds to observation. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are the quantum field, condensed into a temporary pattern that calls itself a person. And the observation that collapses your wave of potential into a fixed reality is not happening out there somewhere. It is happening in here. In the way you see yourself. In the story you tell about who you are. In the identity you observe yourself to be every single day. This means something radical. It means the life you are living right now is not the only life available to you. It is simply the life that matches your current observation. Change the observation. Change the life. Not metaphorically. Not as a nice affirmation to repeat in the mirror. Literally, at the level of the field itself. If this is resonating with you, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so these transmissions can keep reaching you when you need them most. But here's the part that trips people up. You cannot change your observation through the mind that created the current one. You cannot think your way into a new identity using the same thought patterns that built the old identity. That is like trying to see a new reflection in the mirror by rearranging the glass. The glass is not the problem. What is standing in front of it is the problem. And what is standing in front of it is not your body, not your circumstances, not your bank account, or your relationship status, or your job title. What is standing in front of it is your state of being, your frequency, the vibrational signature that you emit every moment of every day, most of it completely unconscious, most of it inherited from experiences you have long forgotten, most of it running on autopilot while you believe you are making free choices. Tonight, we go beneath the autopilot. Tonight, we drop below the level of thought, below the level of habit, below the level of identity itself, into the space where new patterns are born. And from that space, something extraordinary becomes possible. Not a better version of the old you, an entirely new you, one that does not need to be built because it was never broken, one that does not need to be earned because it was never lost, one that simply needs to be allowed. Let me ask you something, and I want you to sit with this question rather than rushing to answer it. Who would you be if you woke up tomorrow with no memory of your past? Not amnesia in the frightening sense, but imagine for a moment that every story you carry about yourself, every label, every wound, every triumph, every failure, every belief about what you deserve and what you do not. Imagine all of it simply was not there. Who would you be? What would you feel? How would you move through the world? Most people, when they really sit with this question, discover something unsettling. They discover that without their story, they do not know who they are. And that unsettling feeling, that moment of groundlessness, is actually the doorway. Because the discomfort you feel when you cannot locate your identity is the same discomfort a caterpillar feels inside the cocoon. Everything it knew about itself is dissolving. Its legs, its body, its way of moving through the world, all of it liquefying into an undifferentiated soup of potential. And in that soup, in that apparent destruction, something entirely new is being organized, not by the caterpillar's effort, not by its planning or its willpower, but by an intelligence that exists within the field itself, an intelligence that knows what the caterpillar is becoming, even when the caterpillar has no idea. You are in the cocoon right now, whether you realize it or not. The fact that you are here, listening to these words at this specific moment in your life, is not coincidence. Something in you has already begun to dissolve. The old patterns are already loosening. The old identity is already softening at the edges. You may have noticed it as restlessness, as a feeling that your life does not quite fit anymore, like wearing clothes that belong to someone you used to be. You may have noticed it as a strange dissatisfaction that has nothing to do with your external circumstances, a hunger that no achievement or acquisition seems to satisfy. You may have noticed it as a quiet voice beneath all the noise, a voice that keeps whispering, "There is more, there is more, there is more." That voice is not your imagination. That voice is the new you, already formed in the field, already coherent as a pattern of possibility, calling you toward itself the way a magnet calls iron filings into alignment. And the only thing standing between you and that new pattern is the old pattern's insistence that it is real, that it is you, that letting go of it would mean letting go of yourself. But what if letting go of yourself is exactly the point? I want to pause here and ask you something. What is the one story about yourself that you have carried the longest, the one that feels most like fact rather than narrative? Leave it in the comments below, not to analyze it, just to name it, because sometimes the simple act of writing it down is the first step in loosening its grip. There is a concept in neuroscience called the default mode network. It is a collection of brain regions that activate when you are not focused on any particular task, when your mind is wandering, daydreaming, ruminating. And what researchers have discovered is that this network is essentially the brain's identity generator. It is the part of you that maintains the continuous narrative of self. I am this person. This happened to me. This is what I believe. This is what I fear. This is what I want. It runs constantly, like a background program on a computer, consuming enormous amounts of energy to keep the story of you coherent and consistent from moment to moment. Now here is the fascinating part. In deep states of meditation, in moments of profound surrender, in certain altered states of consciousness, the default mode network goes quiet. It does not shut off entirely, but its activity drops dramatically. And when it does, people report experiences that are remarkably consistent across cultures, across centuries, across belief systems. They report a sense of boundlessness, a feeling of being connected to everything, a dissolution of the boundary between self and world, a peace that is not the absence of disturbance but the presence of something so vast that disturbance becomes irrelevant. They report, in other words, the experience of being the field itself rather than a single point within it. And when they return from these states, something has changed. Not just their mood, not just their perspective. Their actual neural pathways have reorganized. The brain has physically restructured itself around a new pattern. Old connections that maintained the rigid sense of self have weakened. New connections that allow for greater flexibility, greater creativity, greater compassion, greater presence have strengthened. The hardware has changed because the software changed first. The observation shifted, and the wave collapsed into a new configuration. This is not mysticism dressed up as science. This is science catching up to what mystics have been saying for thousands of years. You are not fixed. You are not permanent. You are not the story you have been telling. You are the awareness in which all stories arise and dissolve. And when you rest in that awareness, even for a moment, even for a single night, the stories that arise begin to change. Not because you forced them to, but because you stopped feeding the old ones. So let us do something right now. Let us practice what it feels like to stop feeding the old story. Not forever, not as a permanent commitment that your mind will resist. Just for this moment, just for this breath. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Not your physical heart, though it is close to that. The energetic center, the place where you feel warmth when someone you love walks into the room. The place where you feel tightness when you are afraid. The place where something ancient in you recognizes truth before your mind has time to analyze it. Just rest your attention there. You do not need to do anything with it. You do not need to feel anything specific. Just notice what is already happening in that space. And as you rest there, I want you to consider something. Every emotion you have ever felt originated in this space before your mind gave it a name. Before it became anger or sadness or joy or fear, it was simply energy, movement, vibration, a frequency pulsing through the field of your body. And your mind, your beautiful and relentless mind, intercepted that energy and said, "This is anger because of that thing that happened," or "This is sadness because of that loss," or "This is fear because of that possibility." And in naming it, in linking it to a story, the mind locked that energy into a pattern that then reinforced the story, which then generated more of the same energy, which then reinforced the story further. A loop, a self-perpetuating cycle that feels like reality but is actually a habit. Tonight, we break the loop, not by fighting it, not by analyzing it, not by replacing one story with a better story, which is just the same loop wearing different clothes. We break it by dropping beneath the story entirely, by feeling the energy without naming it, by allowing the vibration without linking it to a narrative, by being present with what is alive in you right now without needing to know what it means. This is harder than it sounds. The mind will resist. It will say, "This is pointless." It will say you should be doing something productive. It will say you need to figure things out, solve problems, plan for tomorrow. And all of those impulses are just the old pattern trying to maintain itself. The default mode network fighting to stay online. The caterpillar trying to crawl when its legs have already dissolved. Let it resist. Let the mind do what the mind does. You do not need to stop your thoughts. You do not need to achieve some perfect state of inner silence. You just need to stop believing that your thoughts are you. You just need to create a tiny gap, a sliver of space between the awareness that you are and the thoughts that pass through you. And in that gap, that is where everything changes. There is a phenomenon in physics called resonance. When two frequencies come into proximity, they begin to influence each other. If one is stronger, more coherent, more organized than the other, the weaker frequency will eventually entrain to the stronger one. This is why tuning forks work. Strike one and hold it near another of the same pitch, and the second fork will begin to vibrate without being touched. The coherent frequency reaches across space and organizes the incoherent one into harmony. Your old identity is an incoherent frequency. I know that might sound harsh, but stay with me. It is incoherent not because it is bad, but because it is fragmented. It is made up of countless contradictory beliefs, competing desires, unresolved emotions, and borrowed ideas about who you should be. It is a signal full of static, and that static is what creates the experience of struggle, of confusion, of feeling like you are working so hard, but getting nowhere. You are broadcasting on 100-odd different frequencies at once, and the field, which responds to coherent signals, cannot organize around the noise. The new you, the version of you that already exists, submits in the field as a pattern of possibility, is a coherent frequency. It is not fragmented. It is not contradictory. It is a clear, unified signal that knows what it is and broadcasts that knowing effortlessly. And when you drop into the space beneath your stories, beneath your habitual identity, you come into proximity with that coherent signal. You become the second tuning fork, and the resonance begins. You do not have to understand this intellectually for it to work. In fact, intellectual understanding can sometimes get in the way, because the mind wants to turn resonance into a technique, a strategy, a thing to do correctly. But resonance is not something you do, it is something you allow. It is what happens naturally when you stop generating static, when you stop maintaining the old frequency through repetitive thought and habitual emotion. When you simply become still enough, quiet enough, present enough for the coherent signal to reach you. And this is why tonight matters. This is why listening matters. Not because these words contain some magic formula, not because hearing the right combination of ideas will suddenly fix everything, but because the act of listening, truly listening, is itself a form of surrender. When you listen deeply, you stop generating. You stop producing thoughts, opinions, reactions, judgments. You become receptive, open, available. And in that openness, the coherent signal of your new self can finally reach you without being deflected by the noise of your old self. Think about what happens when you are in the presence of someone who is deeply at peace. Not performing peace, not talking about peace, actually embodying it. You can feel it, can you not? Something in your nervous system begins to settle. Your breathing slows. Your muscles release tension you did not even know you were holding. Your thoughts quiet. You did not decide to do any of that. It happened through resonance. Their coherent field influenced your incoherent one, and your system began to reorganize around the stronger signal. Now imagine that the stronger signal is not coming from another person, but from within you, from a dimension of your own being that you have been too busy, too noisy, too identified with your story to notice. It has been there the whole time, beneath the anxiety, beneath the self-doubt, beneath the endless planning and worrying, and trying to figure out how to become who you want to be. It has been patiently broadcasting, waiting for the moment when you would finally get quiet enough to hear it. That moment is now. Let yourself feel what is happening in your body as you hear these words. not what you think about what is happening, what you actually feel. There may be a softening somewhere, a warmth, a tingling, a sense of something opening that was previously closed, or there may be resistance, tightness, a voice that says, "This is nonsense. Whatever is there, let it be there." Do not try to cultivate the pleasant sensations or push away the unpleasant ones. Just notice. Just witness. Just be the awareness that holds all of it without preference. This is the practice. This is the shift. It is so simple that the mind dismisses it. It is so subtle that the ego overlooks it. But it is the most powerful thing you can do, because in the act of witnessing without preference, you step out of the identity that has preferences. You step out of the self that needs things to be different. You step out of the story that says, "I am broken, and I need to be fixed," or "I am lacking, and I need to acquire," or "I am lost, and I need to find my way." You step into the awareness that was never broken, never lacking, never lost. The awareness that does not need a new life because it is life itself. And from that awareness, paradoxically, a new life emerges. Not because you chased it, not because you manifested it through sheer force of will, but because you became the frequency that matches it. You became the observation that collapses the wave of potential into that specific reality. You became the tuning fork that was already vibrating at the pitch of your deepest truth, and the universe, which is nothing but a field of infinite possibility responding to coherent signals, began to reorganize around you. Let me tell you what this looks like in practice, because I know the mind wants something concrete. It wants to know what will actually change, and how it will change, and when it will change. And those are fair questions, even if the answers are not what the mind expects. When your frequency shifts, the first thing that changes is not your circumstances, it is your perception. You begin to see opportunities that were always there but invisible to the old frequency. You begin to notice synchronicities, not as magical coincidences, but as evidence that you are now tuned to a signal that was previously outside your range. You begin to feel drawn towards certain people, certain places, certain actions, not through logical reasoning, but through a kind of knowing that operates beneath thought. A felt sense, an intuition that is not vague or mystical, but precise and clear, like a compass needle that has finally stopped spinning and found north. And then the circumstances begin to shift. Not all at once. Not in the dramatic, overnight transformation that the ego fantasizes about, but in a way that is far more profound because it is organic, it is real, it is sustainable. Doors open that you did not push. Conversations happen that you did not plan. Resources appear that you did not chase, not because the universe is rewarding you for being spiritual, but because you are finally coherent enough for the field to organize around you. You are finally broadcasting a clear signal, and reality, which was always listening, is finally able to respond. But here is the part that most people miss, and this is crucial, so let it really land. The new life does not claim you because you wanted it badly enough. It does not claim you because you visualized it clearly enough, or repeated enough affirmations, or followed enough steps in some manifestation protocol. The new life claims you because you let go of the old one. That is the mechanism. That is the secret that hides in plain sight. You do not attract the new by reaching for it. You attract the new by releasing the old, by loosening your grip on the identity that no longer serves you, by allowing the dissolution that your ego has been terrified of, by dying in a sense, to who you were so that who you are can finally live. And I use the word dying deliberately because that is what it feels like to the ego. The ego experiences transformation as death, not physical death, but identity death. The end of the self it has spent years constructing and defending. And because the ego equates identity with survival, it will fight this process with everything it has. It will generate fear. It will generate doubt. It will generate compelling reasons why you should stay exactly where you are. It will tell you that change is dangerous, that the unknown is threatening, that the familiar, even if it is painful, is at least predictable, and predictability is safety. But predictability is not safety. Predictability is stagnation. Predictability is the same day lived over and over, the same thoughts cycling through the same neural pathways, the same emotions triggering the same behaviors, the same reality reflecting back the same identity. Predictability is the cocoon refusing to open. And what lives inside a cocoon that never opens is not a butterfly. It is a caterpillar that ran out of time. You did not come here to run out of time. You came here to emerge, and emergence requires the willingness to not know who you are for a while. To exist in the space between identities. To be the soup. To trust the intelligence that is reorganizing you even when your mind cannot see the pattern. To surrender the caterpillar without yet being able to see the wings. This is faith. Not faith in a doctrine or a deity or a system of belief. Faith in the process itself. Faith in the intelligence of the field. Faith in the fact that you are not an accident. That your longing for transformation is not a cruel joke. That the pull you feel towards something greater is not wishful thinking, but the gravitational force of your own potential drawing you toward itself. And tonight, in the quiet of this moment, you can feel that pull. If you let yourself. If you stop analyzing and just feel, there is something reaching for you from within your own being, something vast and patient and unimaginably creative, something that has been weaving the threads of your life into a pattern you cannot see from where you stand. But that makes perfect sense from where it stands. And it is asking you, not demanding, not commanding, but gently, lovingly asking, will you let go now? Will you trust me now? Will you stop building the old and allow the new? I am curious, what is the one thing you are most ready to release tonight? Drop it in the comments below. There is power in declaring it, in letting the words leave your body and land somewhere outside of you where they can no longer loop silently in your mind. Take a breath, a real one. Not a shallow chest breath, but a deep, slow belly breath that fills you all the way down to your roots. And as you exhale, let something go. You do not even need to know what it is. Your body knows. Your field knows. Just intend release and let the intelligence within you handle the details. Another breath. Deeper this time. And another release. Feel your body getting heavier, not with fatigue, but with presence. Feel yourself sinking into the moment the way you sink into warm water. Not falling, being held. The moment is holding you. The field is holding you. You do not need to hold yourself together tonight. You can let the pieces rearrange. There is a beautiful paradox at the heart of all genuine transformation, and it is this. You cannot become who you truly are through effort. Effort implies that who you truly are is somewhere else, some distance away, requiring work to reach. But who you truly are is not distant. It is intimate. It is closer than your breath. It is the awareness reading these words right now. It is the presence that has been constant through every change, every loss, every triumph, every failure of your entire life. It did not come and go. Your stories came and went. Your emotions came and went. Your beliefs came and went. But the awareness in which all of that appeared remained unchanged, unscathed, undiminished. That awareness is not a product of your brain. Your brain is a product of that awareness. That awareness is not generated by your body. Your body is an expression of that awareness. That awareness is not dependent on your identity. Your identity is a temporary costume worn by that awareness for the purpose of this particular human experience. And when the costume no longer fits, when the role has been played to completion, that awareness does not panic. It does not grieve. It does not cling. It simply puts on a new costume. It simply begins a new role. It simply allows a new life to claim it. This is what is happening tonight. The awareness that you are is ready for a new costume. The old one served its purpose. It taught you what you needed to learn. It showed you what you needed to see. It brought you, through whatever winding path, to this exact moment where you are finally ready to hear what I am about to say. You are not broken. You were never broken. The pain you experienced was not evidence of your damage. It was evidence of your depth. Only a being of tremendous sensitivity could feel what you have felt. Only a consciousness of remarkable capacity could carry what you have carried, and the weight you have been bearing, the weight of old stories and inherited beliefs and accumulated wounds. That weight was never yours to carry permanently. It was yours to carry until you were strong enough to set it down. And you are strong enough now, not because you have been toughened by suffering, but because you have been softened by it. Softened into openness, softened into receptivity, softened into the willingness to finally, after all this time, let something new in. The new does not arrive as a thought. It does not arrive as a plan. It does not arrive as a 5-step process or a vision board or a carefully constructed intention. The new arrives as a feeling, a frequency, a vibration in the cells of your body that has no name and needs no name. It arrives as aliveness, as the sudden, unmistakable sensation that something has shifted at a level too deep for words. You might feel it as a warmth spreading through your chest. You might feel it as a lightness, as though something heavy has been lifted that you did not even know you were carrying. You might feel it as tears that come without sadness, tears of recognition, tears of homecoming, tears that say yes, this, finally this. Whatever form it takes, trust it. Do not let the mind intercept it and turn it into a concept. Do not let the ego claim it as an achievement. Just let it move through you. Let it reorganize you. Let it do what it came to do, which is to dissolve the boundary between who you have been and who you are becoming. To collapse the wave function of your life into a new configuration, to tune your instrument to a new key so that the music that plays through you from this point forward is a music you have never heard, but somehow always knew. There is something I want you to understand about the relationship between night and transformation, because it is not accidental that you are listening to this in the dark, in the quiet, in the liminal space between one day and the next. Every wisdom tradition on earth recognizes the night as a time of death and rebirth. The Egyptians believed that the sun died each evening and was reborn each morning, having traveled through the underworld and been transformed. The mystics of every tradition speak of the dark night of the soul, not as punishment, but as initiation. The darkness that precedes the dawn. The void that precedes creation. The emptiness that is not absence but infinite potential waiting to take form. Your night is that void. This moment, right now, is the space between what was and what will be. And in this space you are not nothing. You are everything. You are every possibility simultaneously. You are the quantum field before observation collapses it into a single outcome. And the observation that will collapse it, the consciousness that will choose what comes next, is not your thinking mind. It is something deeper, something wiser, something that knows you better than you know yourself because it is yourself. The self beneath the self, the awareness beneath the identity, the ocean beneath the wave. So as you lie here, as you rest here, as you allow the night to hold you, I want you to do something that might feel counterintuitive. I want you to stop trying to change. Stop trying to improve. Stop trying to become. Just for these remaining moments, let all of that go. Let go of every goal, every aspiration, every image of who you want to be. Not because those things are wrong, but because the reaching itself is what keeps you from arriving. The trying itself is what maintains the distance between you and what you seek. The effort itself is the last thread holding the old identity in place. And when you let that thread go, when you truly, completely, unreservedly stop trying to be anything other than what you are in this exact moment, something miraculous happens. The field responds, not to your desire, not to your intention, not to your visualization, to your surrender, to your coherence, to the signal that says, I am here, I am present, I am available, I am not generating static anymore. And the field, which has been waiting for exactly this signal, begins to move. You might not feel it tonight. You might not notice it tomorrow morning. The mind might wake up and say, nothing happened. It was just a nice meditation, back to real life. And if that happens, let it happen. The mind's assessment is not the measure of what occurred. The field does not operate on the mind's timeline. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted, but they are planted. And once planted, they grow according to an intelligence that does not need the gardener's supervision. What was planted tonight is a new pattern, a new frequency, a new way of being that will begin to express itself in ways you cannot predict and do not need to predict. It will express itself as a subtle shift in how you respond to situations that used to trigger you, as a quiet confidence that does not need external validation, as a clarity about what matters and what does not that makes decisions feel obvious rather than agonizing, as a magnetism that draws the right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances into your orbit, not through manipulation or strategy, but through the simple physics of resonance. Your new life will not arrive as a single dramatic event. It will arrive as a series of quiet recognitions, moments when you catch yourself responding differently and realize you did not plan to respond differently. It just happened. Moments when you notice that something that used to bother you simply does not anymore, and you cannot pinpoint when it stopped. Moments when you look in the mirror and see someone familiar but somehow new, like a face you have known forever that is suddenly illuminated by a different light. These moments are the new you claiming you, not all at once, but irreversibly. Each one a thread in a new fabric that is being woven not by your effort, but by your alignment, by the coherence you allowed tonight, by the surrender you practiced in the dark, by the willingness to stop being who you were long enough for who you are to emerge. And here is the most beautiful part. You do not need to protect this new self. You do not need to defend it or prove it or convince anyone else of its reality. The old self needed constant maintenance because it was artificial. It was constructed from borrowed beliefs and conditioned responses and fear-based strategies. It required enormous energy to sustain because it was always in conflict with the deeper truth of your being. But the new self is not constructed. It is revealed. It is what remains when the constructions are removed. And what remains does not need defending because it is not threatened. It does not need proving because it is self-evident. It does not need maintenance because it is maintained by the same intelligence that maintains the orbit of planets and the rhythm of tides and the beating of your heart without any conscious effort on your part. You are being lived by something vast. You always have been. The only difference between the old you and the new you is that the old you believed it was doing the living, and the new you knows it is being lived. The old you believed it was separate from the field, struggling to survive within it. The new you knows it is the field, expressing itself as a unique and unrepeatable pattern of consciousness. The old you sought meaning. The new you is meaning. The old you searched for purpose. The new you is purpose, not as a concept or a mission statement, but as a living, breathing, moment-to-moment expression of the intelligence that creates worlds. Feel that for a moment. Feel what it is like to not need a purpose because you are one. Feel what it is like to not search for meaning because you are it. Feel what it is like to stop looking for yourself and simply be yourself. Not the self you were taught to be, not the self you constructed to survive, not the self that others expect or approve of or understand. The self that exists beneath all of that, the self that is reading these words right now and recognizing, perhaps for the first time or perhaps for the 1,000th time, but more deeply than ever before, that this is true, that you are this, that you have always been this, and that the only thing that ever obscured it was the belief that you were something less. That belief ends tonight. Not because I said so, not because you decided so, but because you heard so. You heard the frequency of your own truth reflected back to you through these words, and something in you resonated. Something in you said yes. Something in you remembered. And that remembrance, that resonance, that yes, is the seed. It is already planted. It is already growing. And by the time you open your eyes, by the time the morning comes, by the time you step back into the world that looks the same but will never feel the same, the new life will have already begun to claim you. Not the life you planned, not the life you imagined. Something better, something more aligned, something that your limited mind could never have designed because it operates from a blueprint that transcends the mind's capacity to conceive. A life that fits you the way your skin fits your body. Effortlessly. Completely. Without gaps or contradictions or the constant nagging feeling that something is missing. Nothing will be missing. Because you will not be missing from your own life anymore. You will be here, fully, for perhaps the first time. present in a way that transforms every mundane moment into something luminous, aware in a way that sees the extraordinary hiding inside the ordinary, alive in a way that does not depend on circumstances but generates them. This is your new life, not a destination you will reach someday, a frequency you are tuning to right now, with every breath, with every moment of presence, with every choice to listen rather than react, to feel rather than think, to be rather than become. Consider returning to this video each morning for the next 7 days, letting these words reset your frequency before the noise of the day begins. And if someone you care about is standing at the edge of their own transformation, share this with them. When you pass along a transmission like this, you do not just help another person, you reinforce the coherence within yourself. The act of sharing creates a resonance between two fields, amplifying the signal for both of you and sending a ripple through the collective that neither of you may ever fully see, but that the field will always use. Let the night hold you now. Let the silence speak. Let the space between these words be as meaningful as the words themselves, because it is in the space that the real transmission occurs. Not in the concepts, but in the consciousness that receives them. Not in the information, but in the transformation that happens when information meets readiness. And you are ready. You have been ready longer than you know. The fact that you are here proves it. The fact that you stayed this long proves it. The fact that something in you is still listening, still open, still willing, proves it beyond any doubt. Tomorrow you will rise, and the world will present itself as it always does, full of demands and distractions, and the 1,000 small urgencies that consume attention. And your mind might try to return to the old frequency, the old patterns, the old identity. It will be familiar. It will be comfortable. It will feel like home, even if it is a home you have outgrown. When that happens, and it will happen, do not fight it. Do not judge yourself for it. Simply notice, too. Simply remember this moment. Simply return to the breath, to the center of the chest, to the awareness that holds all things without preference. And in that return, you will find that the new frequency has not left you. It was just waiting beneath the noise, as it always has, as it always will. And each time you return to it, it grows stronger, more coherent, more stable. Until one day, and that day may be closer than you think, it is no longer something you return to. It is something you live from. Naturally. Effortlessly. As the default mode of your being rather than a practice you have to remember. That is the new you, not a construction, a revelation, not an achievement, a homecoming, not something you built, something you allowed. And it has been waiting for this night, for this moment, for this breath, for you to finally stop running long enough to be claimed by the life that was always yours. Let it claim you now. Rest in that. Breathe in that. Sleep in that, if sleep comes. And if sleep does not come, rest in the wakefulness itself, because even your insomnia tonight is serving the process. Even your restlessness is the old pattern making room for the new. Even the discomfort, if there is discomfort, is the cocoon stretching to accommodate wings it has never held before. Everything that is happening right now is right. Everything you are feeling right now is right. Everything you are is right. Not perfect in the way the mind defines perfect, Right in the way that the universe defines right, aligned, coherent, exactly where it needs to be for the next expression to emerge. And it is emerging. Right now, in you, as you. If these words have reached something in you tonight, if some part of you feels different than it did when you pressed play, then the process has already begun. You do not need to do anything else to earn it, or secure it, or make it permanent. You just need to keep listening. Not to this video, though you are welcome to return to it whenever the old noise gets loud. Keep listening to the frequency that these words pointed you toward. The frequency of your own deeper knowing. The frequency of the self that was never lost. The frequency of the life that has been waiting, with infinite patience and perfect timing, to claim you as its own. It is claiming you now. Let it. Breathe. And when morning comes, notice who opens your eyes. It will not be the person who closed them. It will be someone new, someone familiar but new, someone who has been here all along but is only now, finally, being allowed to live. Welcome home.